just worked on that episode we did on China Uncensored about China building a village villages in Bhutan. What it really reminded me of is the fact that China first sent Tibetan yak herders to Bhutan to claim territory in the 90s. And they didn't have the capability to build anything there yet. So literally there were just like these 4 Tibetan yak herders that they made stay in this area year round, just so they could kind of keep a claim on this land. And kind of they had more herders around. They made them paint words like China on the rocks. As this is the level of the territorial claim going on. It's like literally we're going to paint the Chinese flag on rocks. And then what happened was that then they, when they were able to, they started building roads. They didn't build that village until 2015. So
they laid the groundwork pretty early.
Yeah.
So like 20 years after they started. So right now we have 5, we'll call them research facilities in Antarctica, as Alex says, right? And they've got a runway. And who knows, like the kind of infrastructure they can lay down.
I totally think that China could try to settle Antarctica.
I mean, they can definitely force their population to move lots of places.
Well, I mean, look at what they did in the South China Sea, right? With their Sansha city that's in Woody Island. And
visit the wonderful vacation resort of Antarctica.
No, they could do it.
There are Antarctica tours that people pay $10,000, even upwards of $70,000, $80,000 to go on.
Yeah, I mean, those right now are like essentially luxury cruises, and you can kind of go on land, but you can't stay there really.
I saw one that was only 75,000 pounds per person, and you fly on private jet to a couple different parts of Antarctica, and there's a place to stay.
But it's not like a hotel, right? It's like
it is like a hotel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can stay
in Antarctica near the South Pole.
Interesting. And, okay, that's much more expensive.
Yeah, like I saw their videos, like a private jet and stuff, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I mean, I don't have 75,000 pounds.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of money. But again, like everything's going to get cheaper. The technology's going to make everything easier. I can imagine, like, Chinese built a Chinese airline can go from, Shanghai to, Antarctica. It's a doable flight if you can refuel there.
Yeah, I mean, look at the South China Sea. They started building runways and facilities, and they were like, oh, well, it's just for civilian use. Maybe in Antarctica, they'll be like, everything's for scientific use. And then
they'll call them scientific tours. And
and then you need people there, right, to kind of supply the scientific tours.
So cities,
to stay there year round. You'll need an economy there.
And you need some sort of policing unit to protect the civilians who are there, providing the commercial stuff.
And eventually missile launchers to protect all of this stuff from aggressive foreign powers.
Yeah.
But really, this is exactly what China will be doing in space with their supposed moon base on the dark side of the moon that they want to build.
Can't wait for the Chinese moon tour.
Oh, yeah. Mars, too. Mars is going to be, supposedly like the Antarctic Treaty will be sort of the basis for how the international community handles Mars, but we see how it's going in China.
Scientific cooperation.
I feel like the fundamental problem here is thinking that a treaty will stop the Chinese Communist Party from doing something.
I like how they were just like, yeah, it's done in 2048.
Yeah.
But it's not done.
Well, it's like when they said, the Sino-British Joint Declaration, it has no meaning.
Well, they said it expired after the handover, essentially. But they only said that like a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so
it's
just
a historical
whatever.
document.
Yeah.
This treaty is a historical document. It was signed way back in 1950.
Historical documents, Shelley, are totally irrelevant unless they're maps that show that China had a territory since ancient times.
Right.
You have to respect those. You have to respect those historical documents, Shelley.
Yeah, exactly.
But the idea of, I think it's interesting, how do you stop the Chinese Communist Party? Yeah, they obviously want the U.S. and other countries to be distracted, trying to do little stopgap measures all over the world. When really, if you just cut off the money supply to the Chinese Communist Party, that basically solves everything right now. Easy.
Yeah.
If BlackRock weren't suggesting we triple investments in China.
Oh,
Yeah.
so awful.
But see, China has a trillion. So I think I saw some kind of crazy number in Bloomberg about how big China's mutual fund market could be. Like $45 trillion or
It's
something
big
like
enough
that.
to fit inside Antarctica.
So, BlackRock wants a piece of that.
Oh yeah, it's in the interest of its investors.
Yeah, I mean, I think American corporate greed probably has a big part to play in Antarctica as well. Like, for example, if, like Alex talked about shipbuilding, right? Like, it's cheaper for U.S. companies like Walmart and whatever to get stuff from China, and they don't care that all of those ships that are coming into the San Francisco Bay or New Jersey are Chinese made and Chinese owned ships.
Well, it's a little more than that because, like, why is it cheaper to ship from the other side of the world?
'Cause
Well,
it's being subsidized.
Yeah, there was this article about how it's cheaper to catch salmon in the United States, ship it to China for processing, and then ship the salmon back to the U.S.
mhm.
That's
That's
insane.
That's insane. But I also think that means there's probably some kind of screwed up policies in the U.S. that help make it that way.
Well, I mean, I think one problem is that there's no penalty for doing that, right? I mean, I get there's tariffs now, which is a start, right? But like, yeah, you can just do anything if you can find it a little bit cheaper, even if like the reason it's cheaper is because of, a foreign power messing with the rules.
Well, I'm saying I'm not sure it is entirely just that, like, China subsidizes things. There's probably also, restrictions in the U.S. that just make it cheaper to export abroad.
Yeah. Well, the world is complex, and the solution is China Uncensored trip to Antarctica.
Mhm.
We'll probably catch some frozen bacterial disease and bring it back with us.
Yeah, that's not funny anymore.
Or was it a joke? Antarctica's a freaky place.
It is a freaky place. I think it's a cool place. I think it's a really interesting place. And I'd love to, do a flyover of some of those Chinese bases.
I wonder if you could actually fly over the Chinese bases.
Without them shooting you down.
Well, hopefully they don't have anything installed that can actually shoot planes down.
But we don't know because we're not doing it. We're not going over there, right?
That's
We're not
true, yeah.
sending, unmanned aerial vehicles over. Then we don't know. Satellites can only tell you so much.
Well, I wonder if how drones can even operate in that kind of weather.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get some more advanced drones. Maybe China will build them for us, and then we can just rent them.
That's not a joke. Remember, what was that thing where was it Colorado that was trying to get Chinese DJI drones to help in policing or something?
I don't think it was Colorado, but during the pandemic, some city used these drones to announce to people that they weren't supposed to be out without masks or something. And I think they were using DJI drones.
I mean, what's crazy about that is I actually saw footage of the Chinese authorities using drones to intimidate people during COVID.
Yeah, I think we include that in an episode.
But we didn't only the city didn't only take the Chinese drones. They took that entire authoritarian model of using drones in the skies to instill fear in the populace.
Well,
Wow.
Hey, China has no COVID cases.
Oh, that's right. That's the new thing. No COVID in China. Well, they solved that. If I think that they've gotten it right.
They did. I saw this nice video of them spraying disinfectant in giant clouds everywhere. And that's all it takes.
All right.
It's gone.
I think we should believe China on everything it says, not just on COVID, but also that they're only doing scientific research in Antarctica.
Well, I mean, look at the treaty. It's worked so well.
Until 2048 when it expires.
Technically 2049, I think is what he was saying.
So now that you've said that, Shelley, on the podcast, they're going to use this as evidence.
According to American experts.
I don't think they're going to use this.
Probably not.